Alright everyone, we need to come up with what we're going to release next for the XRS line for Disney cars. I personally was thinking we go back to the drag racing series because they were actually super popular. We received tons of positive feedback about them and they actually sold really well in stores. Now of course we also have the rocket racing option on the table. We have a couple more in the works currently. Wave 2 is hitting stores right now after Wave 1 came out in early 2020. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, on what we want to do next for XRS. What's that? You said mud racers. All 4 stock cars. Wait, let me get this straight. You want to go back to the mud racing line that we started and finished a year and a half ago and release 4 new ones, and they are all just random stock cars from Cars 3. Is that correct? Wow. That's certainly not what I had in mind. Is everybody, wow, everybody's in favor now. Okay, I guess I'm outvoted here. I guess we're going with these stock cars then. Which ones did you say you wanted? Chip Gearings, Aiken Axler. Wait, his name's Phil Tankson though, right? We can't misname any more stock cars. We've done it about 5 times in the last year. So let's get this straight. Phil Tankson, Ponchy Wipeout, and ooh, Bobby Roadtesta. I do kind of like the sound of that. Well, welcome back, guys, to another Disney Docket case unboxing. I hope you guys enjoyed that little skit right there. I find it so funny, so strange, so crazy that Mattel went back to the mud racing line after seemingly starting it a year and a half ago and then ending it last year. So very strange to me, but I'm not complaining. I really like 2 of the choices here, and I kind of like the other 2. But personally, I would have preferred some drag racers because they really didn't do that many of them. And there are quite a few more rocket racers in the works, including Ed Trunken, Michael Roeder, George Newen, and I think another one as well. So that'll be exciting. Of course, Cam Spinner and Paul Conrev are out now. But let's celebrate here with some XRS mud racers because why not? And as always, guys, I get my cases from GetMeCollectibles. I get so many questions asking, how do you buy a full case of cars? You email GetMeCollectibles using the email address I put in the description of every single one of my case unboxings that I get from him. Great seller, and if you just want to buy the cars individually, that's what the eBay link down there is for as well. So let's get right into it, guys. I hope you're doing well. I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support on my 50,000 subscribers special last week. If you missed it, definitely check it out. I'll link it in the description and card suggestion pop up. And I'm recording this just the day it came out because I really wanted to, open this case here, even though it's not the immediate next video I want to do, but I'm really excited to get into this box here. So you can see XRS Mud Racing Case F. So it doesn't really matter, what number case this is, but because, it's not singles and there's not many of them, but it is Case F if you're curious. And there's only 8 in here, so that's a third of single cases, which is way smaller than what I thought it would be. But I guess, it's better for me because now that means 50% of these cars would be new versus in like Case G with Metallic Jonas Carvers. For me personally, he was the only new car. So that's 1 out of 24, whereas this is 4 out of 8. So what sounds better to you? 4 out of 8 sounds better to me. So yeah, I should probably be recording another video right now, but I was just so excited to get into these. And like I said, I don't hate the choice, just very strange. I personally would not have gone for it. We're gonna flip this bad boy around so we get to Bobby last. Save the best for last, right? So I don't know what else is in this case besides the 4 new ones, so we will find out together. So starting off here with 2 re-releases. First one being Leakless. Unfortunately, they still aren't naming him correctly. If you guys don't remember, in the 3rd wave of the Mud Racers that came out, they actually named all of them, all the new ones at least, by their sponsors. So Dino Drafsky was Clutchade, TG Castle was Revolting. Unfortunately, at the time, we didn't know the name of the next gen Leakless, so when they did this, it was just agonizing. until Tomica revealed that it was actually George Nguyen. So now these are all made in Vietnam, as you can see there. So it's a variant from its previous release. So you can see the eyes look a little bit different, not that much different from the Chinese version, but still a tad bit. Decals look clear though, and that's what really matters. On the back here, you can see all of Wave 3, which would be Dino Dravsky, TG Castlnut, George himself, and Steve Slick LePage. So we'll be doing some comparisons later on in the video, but I will not be opening these because I already have them loose, of course. So same type of deal for Barry DePedal. He, of course, though, was just released, in the first wave. But yeah, he is a variant now from Vietnam with that slight change in the eyes. Pretty much the only change that you see from Vietnam. The decals are all, pretty equivalent, whereas Thailand, the decals change quite drastically. So on the back here, you also see the Wave 1 releases, McQueen, Cruz, Jackson, and Cal. I just find it so strange with the XRS mud racers that the stock images are just so cartoony. The eyes are so big and they just look so strange. It seems like they hired a different company to animate these than their usual stock images. Or they use like a different computer program to generate them. But yeah, nice to see Barry back. I feel like George will sell better than Barry, but still, Barry's nice. You know who will not sell well though? Jackson Storm, the biggest peg warmer of all time. So again, Vietnam variant now. And on the back there, you can see Cruz, Barry, Cal, and then Speedy Comet, who was in Wave 2. The only new one in Wave 2. So definitely not one I would include in the case, but I feel like they find it necessary to include a main character. Here we go. Here's the first new one of the case. This is Phil Tankson, the Nitroade racer. And they actually got the name right, thank God. Be so typical of Mattel to call him Aiken Axler. So typical. This is the only one that applies really in this case. They don't usually put the next gen name with the stock car unless you're like H.J. Hollis and Parker Breakston, but they usually mix up the stock cars from cars 1 and 3, and they couldn't do that with anybody else except for Phil in this case, because the other two, Bobby and Chip, are new racers, and Paunchy's the same, if you catch my drift. But yeah, I'm really happy about Phil, what am I talking about? I cannot wait to unbox these guys. We are going to do an unboxing and review of these guys today, because otherwise I probably won't get around to reviewing them. So we're going to put it all into one video. So on the back there, you can see Paunchy, Phil, Bobby, and Chip. I like Paunchy's expression there a lot. Hopefully he looks like that on the actual diecast. Phil looks pretty much like his image. All right, so we'll put you in the background. Who we got here? Okay, Chip Gearings, 2 of them. That's awesome. They include 2 of a new character. Probably my least favorite out of the 4 new ones, but still, always when you include multiples of a new character, they will sell easily, way easier than re-releases. So, of course, the Combustor Racer from Cars 3. And there is the back. I feel like there used to be a description here. Am I wrong? I feel like there totally used to be a description. There was. What happened to it? So on the back of Cal Weathers here from Wave 1, there's your description. The Xtreme Racing Series XRS is a high-octane challenge that takes Lightning McQueen and his racing friends to a new level of competition. The first event of the series celebrates blood and mayhem. At Thunder Hollow, Lightning and his fellow Piston Cup racers will learn the skills it takes to compete as extreme racers. And they had black tire tracks. So now they got rid of the description entirely. Gray tire tracks. And it just says Xtreme Racing Series there and then Mud Racing. That's so lame. That's so boring. I cannot believe they got rid of the description. When did they do that? I wonder if they did that in Wave 3 or if it's just a Wave 4 new thing. That's interesting. Somebody let me know in the comments below. A little disappointing to see that though. But Chip does look good though. I like the blue and green, even though he does look a lot like Dino Dravsky, who was in Wave 3. Just a darker blue. Yeah, look at that. Their designs are very, very similar. All right. See who we got next. Ponchy Wipeout. Very, very nice. So he's got yellow rims here. Everybody was curious if he actually had yellow rims in the movie, and he definitely does. I mean, if you couldn't see it in the movie from the flyby, this definitely would confirm it. And it looks like his expression is a lot like that one on the back. That's awesome. He's got a really cool expression. Definitely an interesting choice. You know, I feel like they do a lot of bumper safe things, you know, in the line. You know, they have a bumper safe hauler in all three stock car, Cars 3 stock car, and next gen. Now they have him in XRS for the first time. Of course, Paul Conrav in the Rocket Racers 2 now. So a lot of bumper safe. If you're a bumper safe fan, you are in luck. But yeah, that's nice to see. The only problem I have with this is that they actually copied Cal Weathers' art exactly and just, you know, put a new paint job on it. So that's a little disappointing, but it's Pixar and Disney and Mattel, and they trying to cut corners where they can. Understandable, I guess. He does look cool, though. You know, I'm not going to deny that. We're running out of room here on the table. And last, but most definitely not least, is Bobby Roadtesta here for Carbon Cyber, the stock car. So definitely, you know, if I was told, all right, Disney Docket, you can pick 4 stock cars or next gens from Cars 3 to be released as XRS mud racers that were not previously released in the 3 prior waves. And I would say, I'd probably say next gen Spearman, next gen Vinyl Toupe, and next gen Rev and Go. But, you know, realistically speaking, I definitely would probably be, you know, inclined to say Bobby Roadtesta because he's gotten little to no representation whatsoever in the line. He got that Amazon exclusive release in a multi-pack, and since then he's become very, very rare and hard to find. There are none on eBay currently. So it's quite wild what happened to Bobby Roadtesta, and so I'm very happy to see him released as a mud racer, and maybe that means that he'll get released normally soon as well, so people who were not able to get him the first go around can get him this time. So that's awesome. And there's the back. So 3 of these racers are all the same model, which is a little weird. Actually, yeah, I feel like, yeah, they've never done a Brick Yardley model for the mud racers. That's a little weird. They like doing this model here. They have done that with TG and Dino and Speedy so far. And then they did Paunchy. Interesting stuff. Very strange. Very, very strange. But yeah, guys, so that is the unboxing. Of course, there's the hole in the packaging, so you can, you know, lift them up and down. So I will be right back with all of these awesome mud racers all opened up. So here are all the new mud racers out of the package, and they are looking stunning, but I can definitely tell that they are now all made in Vietnam and not China. They just have a different finish to the paint, and the eyes are a little bit different, of course, and we'll get into all those differences very, very soon here. As you can see, I have all the other mud racers previously released in the background ready to compare to. So we're going to start here with my personal least favorite out of the 4, Chip Gearings. Now, I have nothing against Chip. You know, he's a brand new sponsor. He's one of the first ever Piston Cup racers for Cars 3 we got released. But he is so similar to Dino Draftsky, and I guess this does apply to the normal Chip Gearings as well, along with Dino from Cars 3. Their paint schemes are almost identical. It's ridiculous. They both have a blue in the front. Chip's is obviously much darker than Dino's, and then that fades into a little bit of a green, and by the back, it's white. I mean, it's kind of unnerving how similar their paint jobs are, like just strikingly similar here. Dino is lacking a little bit of that green that Chip has, and of course the dark blue, but the blue to white is just insane. I mean, you can even see they used the green X in XRS because green is just, you know, a prominent color in them. They both have the green rims. That's just wild to me. I can't believe that. As you can see, very, very similar. At least their expressions are quite a bit different though. But yeah, speaking of expression, you can see from Vietnam, the eyes have quite a little bit of a different look. They just seem a little blurrier, a little hazier around the eyelid there. Whereas with China and Dino here, it's nice and clean across. And the paint's also just a little shinier from Vietnam now. All right, now looking at Chip, just solo dolo here, you can see he's got some mud detailing on his front bumper here, which is nice, nice touch. He's got these extended bolstered fenders here and a black matte paint, which is awesome. On the hood there, you have XRS with the classic black tire mark behind it, 11 for his number. On the side here, his contingency sponsors are Octane Gain, RPM Revolting, and Clutch Aid. And those are a little blurry compared to how clear they were on the Chinese version. And in fact, they're actually quite a bit larger on the Vietnam version than on the Chinese one. You can see how much smaller and how much less room they take up than compared to Chips here, which is interesting again. Just disappointed to see the blurry decals. So you have a white side guard here versus the blue one on Dino. Green XRS. Of course, pretty much the same thing here on the roof. And here's regular Chip. We'll do a little bit more of an extensive comparison in a second. He's got the 3 window bars. Chip has 3, but they're spread out a little bit more. Also to note, the windows here on the side are now part of the body. They are not plastic inserted pieces like they are on regular Chip. However, the back window is still, so that's very weird that they changed the side windows to that, but not the back window. So there you go. There's our first mention of Combustor, his sponsor. The power of online banking, but that is very, very blurry to make out. This part here is pretty much identical on both versions. However, the Combustor logo, the text is not as bold. And obviously coming from China, this is just a heck of a lot more clear. This green is also more vibrant than there with the piston and kind of the explosion. And here you see some dirt detailing and the kind of black tire track that we saw on the hood coming up. And on the back here, you have the Combustor logo again, but similarly, it is not as clear and it's not as bold. So yeah, again, not a huge fan of Chip Gearings here from the Mud Racing line, but it's still a nice inclusion. 11 looks kind of blurry. Taillights even look blurry. I'm sorry to say, Vietnam not doing a phenomenal job with their decals either. Made in Vietnam. Their date stamps are different. These are actually my first Vietnam cars I've ever opened, I believe, because I've never seen what their date stamps are like. And I don't know how to read that. 3529SD. I don't know how I would interpret that. If you guys have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. So here are both Chips. Different expressions in the mouth at least. Very nice. Green rims on both, just no white trim on the Mud Racing version. And the roofs are pretty much the same, just more of a vibrant green on the Chinese version. All right, moving on to my second favorite. It's really close between these two. It's either Phil or Paunchy here. We're going to say that I like Paunchy less than I do Phil, but they are very close because I love Paunchy's expression here. I mean, he looks phenomenal with that smiling expression versus this one before where, of course, he has the black eyes and the mouth isn't really too, I don't know, enthusiastic. Now, of course, this is the version with the yellow rims that is accurate to the movie, but with the black eyelids, which is not accurate to the movie. They did release a Thailand variant with the blue eyes, and I believe he's also in a multi-pack with blue eyes, so they have corrected it since, but this is the version I have here loose. And of course, obviously, they corrected it for the mud racing version here. You can see the nice expression there. A little blurry, but that's as to be expected. Now, one thing they really toned up here are the yellow tints to the white parts of his paint job here. So when we first got this original version here with the yellow rims, a lot of people thought they were errors because, I mean, why would Ponchy Wipeout, a car with a red, white, and blue paint scheme, have yellow rims? Like, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But actually, his paint job now in Cars 3 is more red, blue, and like a yellowish beige. So these white spots here in the movie are supposed to look like this, where it's kind of tinted yellow. A very strange color, but it looks actually really nice with the yellow rims that they did carry over here for the Mud Racer. So you can see they used red, kind of like an orangish red for the X and XRS. He's got a red side guard there. Then you got the mud there on the bumper. Contingency sponsors are the same. Still a little blurry. And there is the roof. Looks like the red's a little bit brighter, which is interesting because on the Combustor one ship, it was the opposite. The Mud Racer was darker and less vibrant than the regular version. Both have roof flaps. Black window bars. Pretty much the same distancing. Again, you have that window thing where they're a part of the body now instead of inserted pieces like on all the other previous releases for Paunchy. So you can see on the back Paunchy or bumper save logo. Again, the yellow tint is way more obvious than here where it's, I don't know, you can kind of see it there, but on the back it's definitely just white. Here's the camera to, look back and record the race to be broadcasted on TV. And you have 90 there, which looks disgusting how dark that is and blurry versus a nice clean 90 over here. Don't like that at all. Overall, though, a really nice release here. Definitely probably not, one of the first ones I would include in the mud racing line, but not the last either. I'll give them that. And just for laughs and giggles, here is the Cars 1 Ponchy Wipeout Racer, who is obviously extremely different, but still, because they are all the same character, definitely had to show him. I can't believe we're getting so many variations of Ponchy Wipeout. Like, if I was asked back in 2008, when Ponchy Wipeout was first released, I was asked, like, I don't know, how many variations do you think will be released for Ponchy Wipeout? Every diecast under the name of Ponchy Wipeout. I'd be like, well, I don't know. I mean, I was only like 7 back then, but I'd probably say maybe 1. Realistically, maybe 1, because Mattel does that a lot. Maybe he'll get a mouth blade someday. I don't know. Maybe he'll get a lenticular release. I don't know. I would never have guessed that they would give him an XRS release. All these Cars 3 releases with yellow rims, black eyes, blue eyes, Thailand, Vietnam. It's absolutely ridiculous how many variations he got. And plus, he got even another hauler. I mean, Bumper Save is living the good life. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right, here is Phil Tankson. So for Nitroade here, definitely my second favorite now that I really see him up close here just because of how unique he is. So here's the regular Phil Tankson. Pretty much the same expression, but they did change up the mouth a little bit and the color of his eyes from brown to blue. Just a little strange. I couldn't tell you, though, which one's accurate to the movie. Now, of course, because of the fact that his main color is black, they couldn't use the black tire mark or screech, and so instead they made it gray. You can see everyone else has it black, unless your Phil. Literally, Phil's the only one who has it black. Even Jackson Storm has it black, despite his body being gray, or kind of a dark gray. So yeah, that's interesting to see. It makes this orange here on the X stand out. There you have 28, some mud detailing. His contingency sponsors are Blurly, Octane Gain, RPM, Revolting, and Clutchade. Yeah, those ones are not the best. So this is the first example we've seen today where they changed the color of the rims for the XRS release. You can see they're kind of this orangish red, which I really, really like, versus the gray ones we see on regular Phil. But yeah, with Paunchy and Chip, they have the same colors. So you have a white side guard here, which is nice, provides some good contrast. You have the gray again. Roofs, pretty much the same, a little bit more vibrant on the normal version. Definitely more gradient. You can see it starts at almost a yellow at the front edge there and fades all the way back into this red. But this gradient here is more of a dark kind of chiseled orange or a rustic orange that fades into kind of a red. Not as clear, in my opinion, as on Phil, the regular version. Especially right here, like this is orange, whereas this is more red. But either way, you have the Nitroade logo. Not terribly blurry, but definitely not as good as from China. High energy drink. The window bars are not as spread out as they are here. You got the window thing again that I've mentioned a couple times now. High energy drink. Got the logo again and the camera. Taillights are missing that white line down the middle, so that's a little unfortunate. 28. Look how much. See, the white trim on this lettering makes it stand out so much more because the 28 just doesn't really stand out much at all over here. And that's because the white lettering isn't as visible, or the white trim on it. You got the mud flaps, which are on all of them. Nice. So which one is your favorite, guys? I mean, of course, we still have one more to go, and I'm sure a lot of people will say Bobby Roadtesta is their favorite, but let me know in the comment section below which one is your favorite. Maybe this will change your mind. Maybe I'll show you something you don't like about Bobby. So yeah, here is Bobby Roadtesta. Now, the reason I'd say a lot of people will adore this one is simply because the character is very hard to find as a normal diecast, and you desire what you can have more than what you can have. And I don't know if that applies to everybody, but it applies to most of humanity. So because Bobby Roadtesta is so sought after and just not as common as the other three racers here, we're going to naturally like him more. And so that's, you know, what happened to me here. I do like his design, don't get me wrong. I love the blue rims here. They changed them yet again, as with Phil, from black over here to blue. And just this note, you know, Bobby Roadtesta, this one was only available in an Amazon exclusive 11-pack and now is extremely rare. So he's got the black tire mark there on the hood. Number 67. Mud. His expression is also a little different with the mouth. Everybody's got open mouths, which is a little strange. Octane Gain, RPM, Revolting, Clutchade, we know. Black, they chose blue for the color of the X. 67, that still looks pretty good. You know, we've noticed with the roof, some of the quality, the vibrancy changed a little bit, but these look pretty much the same. They definitely outline these pentagons, I believe, or no, they're hexagons or whatever. I'm pretty sure they are hexagons, yeah. Counting the sides, Disney Docket. Yeah, they are way more visible. You can see the lines around them and how these ones back here are a little white, whereas here they just kind of fade in with the background. They just aren't as noticeable. So that's a change. You have a light blue sidebar to match the X there in XRS, which is similar to how it matches with Paunchy, but not with the other two. On the back here, you have carbon cyber. Slightly different size. You can see that cyber, instead of being in this kind of icy blue color. It's now in white, and the carbon, instead of fading from a dark blue to a light blue, it fades from a light blue to a white. So that's an interesting change. And it seems like they did the same thing with the logo here on the back. Now, strangely enough, these hexagons look way clearer than these ones. These ones look so two-dimensional and flat. These have a lot of depth to it, you can see, but the opposite is true for the ones on the roof. So very strange there, but it is Mattel, and Mattel's gonna do Mattel type things. There you go with the gas cap. I really didn't point out the gas cap on the other ones, so I'll show you. Alright, so that is all for the 4 new mud racers out of Case F. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. We're now going to compare them to, or at least bring in the whole gang here and just talk about them a little bit. So you got, of course, Dino, and you got Steve Slick LePage up here, and Lightning McQueen, TG Castlenut.